Hi, my name is Jean-François Laporte. I'm a musician, a composer, and an instrument builder. I'm in Huddersfield to give a workshop around this new invented instrument called the Babel Table, and in a series called Totem, Électrique, where I'm commissioning 4 new pieces to 4 composer students here. This instrument is called the Babel Table, and basically it's a mix in between 5 instrument family that I develop and create on the past 22 years. All the instrument works with compressor that goes through valves that select each instrument. So I start with the bowl here, which is a salad bowl covered by a latex membrane, and there's air that is blown inside this tube and that is spread over a surface of the membrane. The second family, which is the vibrating membrane, there I use telescopic tube to change the pitches, and they are mostly related to organ, same kind of principle, and the timbral seems the same. Then there's the pipe here, which is a big tube covered by, again, a latex membrane. And there's the insect on the side, so they sound like insects, that's why I call them insect. And there's a free air valve that can be mixed with other things. Those ones are quite nice because you can balance them.
I'm most interested in a lot of the membranes on the instrument. I mean, it's an incredible instrument. There's so much there, and I suppose I want to get away from just cataloging all the sounds and just zoom in onto just 1 or 2 components and really spend the time there. Jean-François has a lot of other items that can be used to either prepare or place on a lot of the membranes. So kind of muting and manipulating, say, various mouthpieces on the surface of the instrument is really, really interesting. I'm interested in a kind of mapping of the choreography of the gestures required to get at certain kind of sonic material as well. So that could be, sliding tubes out, manipulating airstream, pushing, pulling on membranes, a lot of these things. This is an incredibly physical instrument.
At the end of the Stefano pieces, the problem is you have to find a way to put it right.
One of the things I loved the most about these instruments was its unpredictability, so that each sound you try to produce is never going to come out exactly in the same way, and it always takes different times to speak in a certain way or to vibrate in a certain way. So as a composer, that puts you in a really different focus. So you need really to think more about how the performer interacts with the instrument and how this sort of interaction can allow the material to bloom in certain way. And so you need to take care of leaving to the musician the time to really get connected to this sort of interactions. So I think that would sort of also kind of be interesting for me as a composer, because it puts me in a very different mode from the typical pen and paper composing.
Right now, I'm trying to explore a lot of creative coding things, so how I get sound from this instrument into a computer, and then how I change that to make it come through speakers. That's the biggest thing I'm working on right now, because this instrument's already very unique and has a ton of different sounds. So finding ways to not only take advantage of how Jean-François plays and the way he interacts with the instrument, but then also how I want to bring certain sounds from my own vocabulary and imagination and mix with those. I really love playing with the pipe. You can interact with a certain way where it gets a lot of this low, deep resonance, but then also gets into a register that you don't get any of the resonance at all. It's just this very wispy high, mostly dealing with the air and the latex. And finding that sweet spot right between those two, where it's just kind of oscillating between the low rumble and the high wisple, is perfect. So this thing, and the way the insects interact, these high, chirpy sounds, and spatializing those around with the speakers has been interesting to mess with.